Hello, and welcome to the Exploring AI Tools with Dr. Finney, an initiative by the Holistic Medic Network, HomeNet. Um, Today is episode 2 of our 12-week training on AI tools. Here, we teach you and train you on certain AI tools that are going to make your daily task easier. Right. If today is the first time you're joining us, we would recommend that you subscribe to the channel and then hit on the notification bell so anytime we upload any new video, you get a notification in time and you're able to hop on onto our training video. Right. So last week we trained on how to master AI text prompts. Today, what we are going to learn are the secrets to generating hyper realistic photos. Right, the secrets to generating hyper realistic photos. So, without wasting time, I'm just going to share my screen now and we'll go right into the secrets. Great. So, AI has made so much advancement that AI is able to create images. But one thing we realize that not every image created by AI is easy to pick out as being created by AI. There are some AI images, once you see them, you can tell that this is not real. This looks like it was created by AI, right? Everybody can tell. Then there are also images or photos that look a bit confusing. You just don't know where to place it. Is it an AI image? Is it a real image? And until you pay attention to certain details, you may not be able to make them out. And today, that's what we are going to be training on and be learning how to generate such hyper realistic photos. So, hyperrealism just simply means generating an image or an art that is so lifelike, like so close to real life that it's almost difficult to distinguish because of its high resolution and realistic lighting. Okay. And personally, I believe that there are just two secrets. I hope you were not thinking that there were 10 secrets or more. I think that there are just two major secrets to generating hyper realistic photos. The first being giving an excellent image prompt. An excellent image prompt. Last week we learned about mastering AI text prompts, but this week we're going to learn how to give an excellent image prompt. And the second thing or the second secret is getting or using an excellent AI tool that is well suited for generating hyper realistic photos. Not any every it's not every AI tool that has the capacity to produce a hyper realistic photo. And so you'll find that there are several tools out there that are able to generate images, but after giving them a prompt, the kind of outputs they produce are just not realistic enough. And so today we are going to first of all learn how to create good image prompts. I'm going to show you which components come into play with things you should consider when you're making a good image prompt. And then secondly, I'm going to introduce you to three of my favorites at the time of making this video. AI tools that give hyper realistic photos. Okay. And I'm giving you three because I just want you to have options. And there are so many out there. And the focus of this training is to just build in you a desire to go out there and keep exploring AI tools and incorporating them in your daily use. So, what are these things that are necessary for making a good image prompt? The first is to be specific in your prompt. If you give a very generic or blanket prompt, you are most likely going to get a generic or blanket result. In our last session, I explained to you that in as much as AI is very advanced, AI is not a mind reader. And so AI will produce to the extent to which you give in the prompt. All right. So it helps to be very specific in your prompt. For example, If you give a prompt such as generate an image of a monkey, it's good. But if someone says generate an image of a monkey with a big smile, holding a beer, wearing a baseball cap, now that specifics that have been added will generate a better image than you have generated. Okay, so one of the key components to always consider in generating good image prompts is including details and clearing up ambiguities in your statements. All right. And I find that one of the best way to do this is to actually have a picture in mind. Okay. Even before you start giving your prompt, have a picture in mind. Have something in mind that you want to produce. And from that image in mind, you try to describe it in as much detail to the AI tool, and then you would get your image near to what you have in mind. So remember, be specific in your prompts, give details in your prompts. Don't just give generic prompts and expect an ultra realistic result. It just doesn't work that way, right? The next thing to consider in making a good image prompt is using descriptive words. Okay, descriptive words enrich your prompts. Okay, these are more like adjectives. Okay, so adjectives of color, of size, of tone, they all add like several layers to your prompt and help generate a better image. So imagine someone says generate an image of a warrior, of a knight. But someone also comes and gives it more descriptive words, like generate an image of a gigantic swordsman in a golden armor standing in front of an ancient castle. Now, those descriptive words will bring more gravitas, if you would have that, to your image. It would make the image more refined than just giving something without the descriptive words. Okay, so it helps to always incorporate certain descriptive words, certain adjectives to qualify the kind of nouns you have in your prompt so that your output is even crisp. The next aspect is to specify your desired quality. All right. Just tell the AI tool exactly what you want. Sometimes you want images that are very, very, very high in resolution, like 4K detail. You input that. Sometimes you may want a blurry photo for what you desire to use the photo for, or you want something that has a vintage touch, or you have a specific ratio or format in your mind. And for those of you who are used to ratio 16:9 and what of that. So whichever one that you want, whichever quality of the photo that you want, it helps to include that in your prompt so that the AI tool will know exactly what you need from it and will give you just that. So specify your desired quality. Now, AI tool is very well advanced now, and interestingly, AI is able to produce several image styles, several, from cartoon to paintings to photorealistic. AI is able to do a lot. All right. So if you know the kind of image style you want, it helps to also add that into your prompt. For example, you could say generate an oil painting of, and then yeah, it would generate it in that way. It would help to say maybe generate a cartoonish image of a horse in the field. Okay, and because you've added a specific style, it will produce it in that manner. Okay, now still speaking about styles, we realize that certain people in the past had specific styles. People who are renowned artists, like Leonardo da Vinci, had their own styles. Okay, like Picasso had his own style. All right. So sometimes, if you want to create something similar to their style, it helps to add that in your prompt. So, for example, you could say that generate an image of let's say, of people sitting in an arena in the style of Leonardo da Vinci. All right. So the AI tool is going to look at how Leonardo da Vinci produced his artwork and then use that style and then produce what you've asked it to produce. Okay. So if you have any or you know of any styles of certain artists in the past who had specific and unique styles, it helps. It always helps to add that. So don't forget to incorporate your image style. The next is to add context to your image. Adding context to your image. Yes, we met context in text prompt, and we are meeting context here in image prompts too. Now, if the kind of image you want the AI tool to help you with or to produce has a sort of story to it, a background to it, it's always wonderful to add that background. For example, I give an example here that a futuristic soldier walking through an empty street after an apocalypse. Okay. After an apocalypse is the sort of background you give to it. So you realize that your image becomes more refined because of the background story or the backstory or the context you've added to it. Okay, the setting will change just because of the story you've added to it, as opposed to just writing a futuristic soldier walking through an empty street or walking through the streets. It will change everything there. And so context refines your image. So don't forget to add context to your image, and would incorporate all of this when we are trying out our hands on them on the several AI tools we would see today. Now, photography terminology. If you know of any photography terminology you are sure of, it's good to also add some of these things. For example, if you want a wide angle photography, a wide angle image, or a close up image, or something with some soft light. If you know these terminologies and you know what they actually mean and how they affect images, you could incorporate that. And AI would also follow that instruction and produce similarly. Okay, so if you are conversant with photography terminologies, if you are not, it's not a problem. You can just Google these things and see how they work and just start incorporating them in your prompts. Try out certain images. And if you tried low angle, it didn't look too right. You can try wide angle, it didn't look too fine. Try close up, try full body, try soft light, and all of that, and see how it works for you. All right. But by all means, if you add photography terminologies like we've mentioned, they give better images. Right. And then given the vibe, given the image vibe, yes. Just like we talked about context, all right, sometimes your image requires a certain tone that you want it to take on. For example, an image of some, maybe let's say three children walking in the forest with a gloomy atmosphere or an eerie atmosphere. So that kind of tone or vibe, or someone jumping in the streets, energetic on a bright sunny morning. Those sort of vibe you give to your images also makes your image even brighter. Okay, and so if you have in your mind any tone you want to add to your image, it just helps to incorporate that in your prompts. Okay. Now, finally, this is my advice. When you want to create image prompts, it's always best to avoid contradictory words. Okay, contradictory words. Contradictory words such as you tell an AI to produce a full body image and a headshot image in the same prompt. Now that's confusing. Do you want the tool to focus on the face or the entire body? Obviously, you cannot do both. You cannot focus on the face and the entire body at the same time. And so that is very contradictory and so confusing for the AI tool. It would produce such an unsatisfactory image, and you may not be too happy with it. And that's because your prompt was not good enough. Okay, and so if you want to make good prompts, it helps to plan ahead. That's why I'm saying have an image in mind before you start typing. Don't just start typing and along the way try to refine it as you go. It may help, it may work out, but it always helps to plan ahead. Decide what you want and then put it out. Speak in as much detail. Check for conflict, check for contradictory words. Make sure what you are saying that's not at one part does not conflict with another part. Don't ask for the person to be wearing green and then later say the person is wearing white. So contradictory. I mean, it may not work out well. And be clear in your message, and the AI would work that well. Now, at this juncture, we would look at the AI tools for today, try these things we have learned, and see how we can incorporate this in the generation of hyper realistic images. Great. So the first tool we are going to learn is Leonardo.ai. For those of you who have, never come into contact with this AI tool, all you need to do is simply go to open a tab in any of your browser. Just go to the tab and just type in Leonardo.ai. Okay. And straight away it will bring you here. It's just going to bring you here, which is what I already have here. And once you get into this interface, all you have to do is to click the Get Started button. It's going to load and then bring you up to a page. I have already logged in. Okay. If I wasn't logged in, then I would need to sign up or sign in. So what I'm going to do is log out now and show you how to sign in or sign up. Okay. So this is the sign in page or sign up page. If you have never been here, never used this app before, this is the interface you're going to meet. And like I've said, we will just be using our Gmail accounts. And so I'm just going to continue log in with Google and just use my Gmail account. Yes, I am here now. Right. Once you come into this interface, today we are focusing on image generations. Okay. So you come into your AI tools, you just click on image. Then it sets you up into this interface. These are just some things I've done in the past, and so that's my history. Here is where you type your prompt. Okay, here's where you type your prompt. I must warn you of this. Most of the tools we're going to be using are free. Okay, but they also have paid versions of them. And because of that, they have depending on the kind of AI tool you have, they have certain units that the units are like the currency used to generate the images or videos, as the case may be. And it's important to always bear this in mind because the units or the credits or tokens or whatever the app may choose to call it are limited. Sometimes they are renewed daily, sometimes they are renewed weekly, depending on which tool. Others renew them monthly, others is for a year. So it's important to always check out these things before you start trying out your images. Because for some of them, there are certain apps that maybe give you 3 trials. And if you're so eager to try new things, you want to try a prompt, refine it again. By the time you get to your third one, you realize that you are out of credits. Okay. So Leonardo gives us, so as you can see here, 150 credits daily. Okay. In the free version, they don't roll over. Okay. So if you don't use your 150 credits today and you come in tomorrow, it's not going to turn into 300. It's going to be 150. Okay. So pay attention to these credits as we go into the next tools. I'm going to show you where this also is at, and then you pay attention to those ones. So that's here about your prompts. Once you type in a prompt, you're going to have to generate. So you see here that generate has 40 tokens. It means if you're going to generate an image, you're going to spend 40 tokens. So it gives you an idea about how you should spend your tokens. Over here to the left, the first thing is the model that tells you which model is being used to generate the images. Okay, so here it's using the FlaxDev model. There are other models in certain AI tools. When we go into other AI tools, I'll show you. And the style you want should be dynamic, the dimensions, like we're talking about the ratio. Okay, if you want it to be medium sized or in terms of resolution. And here, the number of images you want to produce. For the free version, it is automatically set to 4. But if you're using the paid version, it will set it to 3, to 2, to 1. All right. And then other advanced settings you can explore on your own later. Right. So let's just hop onto the prompts. I don't know what we should try out first. Okay. Let's try any of the prompts we saw in our slides earlier. So generates a picture of a monkey in the bar with a glass of beer in its left hand. It has a blue baseball cap and appears to be excited. So once you put in your prompt, all you need to do now is to just generate. Once you click generate, the app is going to do its thing and give you 4 options to choose from. Okay. So you're just going to have to wait for some time. All right. Okay. So these are more cartoonish images. So we see the monkey with the bear and then the cap. All right. Okay. So let's generate something else. I still have some more credits. So generate a photorealistic image of a Roman soldier fighting at the battlefield. Oh, okay. So it says violent and abusive. So let's just change the prompt. Okay, Roman soldier at the battlefield. Great. So there you have it. Not extremely perfect, not so photorealistic, but to some degree makes some good sense. And we'll try this out in other tools and see how they work. All right. So this is Leonardo da Vinci for your own exploration in your free time. The next tool I want to introduce us to is called freepik.com. All right, freepik.com. So we're going to go to their AI suite and then choose image generator. They're going to ask me to sign in, so I'm just going to sign in. I already have an account, so I'm just going to sign in with my account. So start creates an AI image. And then here we are. Okay. So over here is where you'd put your prompts. This is the mode, like the model we saw in Leonardo da Vinci. So you can see that there are other models, but this crown logo image seen beside shows you that it's only available for the premium package if you'd pay for them, right? And these are other things you can explore on your own free time. I promise to show you where the credits are. So in FreePic, these are the credits. You get 20 credits daily, okay? And each image you generate costs you 1 credit, all right? And unlike Leonardo da Vinci, over here you can determine how many images you want to produce. So it's set to 4, you can reduce to 2, you can reduce to 1. We're going to increase it to 4. If you want to increase it beyond 4, you would need to pay. Okay. But so let's set it to 4 so that we have a wider variation and then we see what we can produce. Okay. Right. So let's try a different prompt. Okay. So let's try an image of red Ferrari car parked on the streets. The atmosphere is serene and it's twilight. Something as simple as this. And you click on generate. AI2 is going to give you wow. So yeah, you can look at them, see which one you want. Then again, these are not very super refined prompts. Just type in anything from my head. Let's try a close-up picture, close-up photo of a Viking in the style of Leonardo da Vinci. So let's see what this is also able to produce. Oh, okay. Okay. I see. Okay. So that's about that. We're going to try this same prompt. When we are done, I'm going to give us one single prompt and then we'll try it across all 3 of them. We'll see which one is able to generate the most photorealistic image. Okay. So let's just move on to the last AI tool for today so that you can hop on. The last AI tool is Halio AI. I have already logged in. I can log out and log in again. Let me just log out and log in. Great. Now, the thing about Halio is that when you log in for the first time, here is their credits. Okay, you're going to be given 10,000 credits to use within 3 days. To use within 3 days. Once the 3 days elapse, your credits expire. And then subsequently, not even subsequently, every day you get 100 credits, okay, for you to use. And I particularly like this AI tool for their images. They are able to generate videos, but I don't like their videos too much. Their images, however, are so real. Okay, so let's try out some few prompts. Let's see. An image of school children playing at the field and be playing on the field, the school field at noon. Once you type that, just come to generate. It's going to cost you 4 credits to generate 4 pictures. So we wait while the AI works on this. So the interesting thing is that free accounts actually take longer to generate than paid accounts. I think it's just the developer's way of encouraging you to buy and hop onto their paid plans. And so it's going to take a while. Going to take a while. Okay. So this is more of a wide angle image. Not too bad. The only thing I don't like about Helio is that they add their watermark. Yeah. Okay. Not bad. Okay. So these are also other photos I generated using the app. Okay. Now let me show you one thing that would help you in your image prompting. Sometimes when you go into these AI tools and you go to their explore option, you're going to see images of people, okay, images that people have generated. And then one of the things you can do is to look at the kind of prompts people used to generate certain images. You can copy the prompt and study the aspects of it, study how they made those prompts, and then use that as an inspiration to generate yours. I'm hoping to just show you one. I'll just go to another scene if I can show you one. Okay. All right. So let's look at this. So if you look at this image of Zeus, this is the prompts the person used. Okay. So I could copy the prompts and then read through, see how the person made it. Sometimes a lot of people use a lot of words in describing their images. Not all of them are necessary, but it helps to also teach you how to also make your prompts, especially if you want to get results similar to theirs. Okay. And over here, you see a negative prompt. And what a negative prompt means is that those are things you tell the AI to not to do or not to include in your image. So, for example, an example of a negative prompt would be not no blurry images. Okay, so you are telling the AI tool that it should produce an image for you, but you don't want it to be blurry. So negative prompts are things that you tell the AI to not to do. Okay, you should pay attention that these things don't appear in your image. So yes, back to it. Once you see a photo you are interested in, a photo that catches your eye, a photo that inspires you, you can copy the prompts, you can study the prompts. Alternatively, copy the prompt, try it in another AI to see how it comes out. Let's just try this. Let's copy this prompt, see how it works in FreePic. Let's see what FreePic will generate. Okay, not too bad. Okay, let's try Helio and see what Helio would also generates. It's the same prompts. Just going to take a while. So while we wait, I'm just going to tell you my favorite of these three. Personally, I like Helio's image generation. I think that they produce more hyper realistic images than the other two. I would rank Helio as number one. Choosing between Leonardo and FreePic, I think FreePic does better even with a not so great prompt than Leonardo does. Leonardo, if you give a very good prompt, you get a very good outcome, right? But Helio, it's amazing. Once this image is done, I'm going to show you one image I generated that looks so good, and I just couldn't. So yeah, that is Helio's generation, but it's the same prompt. And I personally like this better. If you compare this to what we got from free pick, not so much. What even picked up from? Okay, this is also great. But personally, I've always, I've always liked Helio. Let me just show you the image I was talking about. So these are other images that I've created. Looks real. If you would ask me, looks quite real. Looks real. The very one I loved so much was this one. Okay, this looks too real for me. I don't know how many of you may probably be able to tell if you hadn't seen prior to this that it was generated by AI. It does look quite hyper realistic, and the prompt is even quite shorter than you might have imagined. This is just a prompt: a young Korean girl wearing a pastel pink crochet. That's all. Nothing, nothing deep, and it was able to produce such a wonderful hyper realistic images. Right. So that is where we would end today. I do hope that you've been able to pick up something from today's lesson. In summary, we looked at two major secrets or two major pillars to producing hyper-realistic images. We said if you want to produce hyper-realistic images, one, it depends on generating a good prompt, a good image prompt, which should involve you being specific in your prompt, you adding context to your prompt, you adding some descriptive words to your prompt, you telling the AI tool the desired image quality. I think we didn't try that out, but you could add it. If you want it to be 4K, just tell it, and it's going to give you a very high a picture with a very high resolution. All right. And if you know some photography terminologies and how they work, like a close up, full body shot, soft light, you could try all these things out and see how they affect your image. Okay, and so that's that aspect of making a good image prompt. And the second aspect is using a good AI tool. Today we've looked at just three of them. There are tons and tons of them out there. I just hope that these ones will excite you enough to go out there and then search for more. And sometimes the ones that are too good, you would have to buy them, you would have to pay them. And if you are hoping to escape them, you would have to find a way to stick with these free ones. Okay, we've looked at Leonardo.ai, we've looked at freepig.com, and then we've looked at Helio's photo generation. Right, so that's all we have for today. I'm very grateful that you stayed through to the end. I do hope that you go try out today's lessons, and as always, there will be an assignment in your Google Classroom, so do check that out and complete them. As always, stay curious, keep exploring. Bye for now.